And good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the NASDAQ 100 being recorded on Monday, September the 22nd at 2:40 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Interesting day. As it started out, I gave the option that this could be one A, B, C, and still for a wave, this wave two. Well, the market did not do that because I'm looking for some follow through here. We had levels that would possibly bring it down back below 24,655. Did not happen. So we actually kind of just traded in here. And then once the market opened, they just started to rally and they didn't actually stop uh, pretty much for the balance of the day. So I reverted. I went back 1, 2, and 1, 2. It is a little bit cleaner here on the NASDAQ than it was on the S&P because you can see kind of got that big old dent in the middle of this whole sequence. So kind of is not the easiest or the prettiest patterns to kind of stick a label on. But when we got that rally, it certainly did make sense today. The alternate would be that we're doing because remember, this is a sub-minuet wave 5, but it's turning into a diagonal. So therefore, we have ABC1, ABC2, ABC3, and we could do an ABC4, likely to come and go and overlap there. So we might get some stronger downside tomorrow or overnight. It doesn't necessarily have to, but we get an ABC down for a wave 4, and then we rally back up actually this would be 1, 2, 3, and on this degree, okay, we get a 4, and then we go back up in a 5 to finish this 5, right? So that sub-minuet wave 5 is going to be up here, and we've got markers right now at 25,124. So that all fits. And so then once we're completing this fifth wave, going back out to the daily, we're going to be looking for it to finish the minuet fifth wave back up here. And so that kind of would fit in terms of where wave 5. I think actually it has kind of gone pretty far beyond. Come on. This thing's going to give me. Thank you. You can't see it, but the gray box, it was sticking right in the middle and I couldn't get my bearings there. So 6 minute, you can see it's already taken it out. And I just got to remove it again. So that's why it does push it up to 0.882. But if it all finishes between and not quite up all the way to 25,299, it is going to be okay because we're finishing a 5 here, and that would then in turn finish this 5. So uh, it does fit and it works. So we're going to keep an eye on here to see if this is a 1, 2, 3, come down to 4, go back up into 5, reach this level, put in this 5 up to here, and that puts in this 5 back up to here, and then we're done with minute wave 3. Now, this is the interesting part because if we finish minute wave 3, then, oh, I got to take it out to the daily so I can just show you that. There's wave 2, minute wave 2. So this whole pattern, all of this rally has been a part of minute wave 3, and now I'm looking for the thing to conclude. And then once it does, we should be then set for, and let me go back down to my hourly. What we would be looking at then is a minute fourth wave, and that would be expected to bring us back down to here, which again is going to be 23,060. And we're going to be doing it from above 25,000. So again, a large correction and still could take us into October, right? Can't forget we have an expiration this Friday, then we have quarterly expiration on Tuesday, September the 30th. Now, that quarterly expiration should be pretty large, and we're already seeing the market start to play towards that as we see adjustments, we see rotation. We saw today, for example, in Apple, That was definitely a rotation into Apple, with the stock up $10.58. So the demand was very high, blowing through a lot of strikes. We also saw stocks such as NVIDIA. Basically, in the morning, barely could get above 179, 178, 179, suddenly catches fire as rotation in to the stock, and the stock was up six. Let me just tell you, it was up six, almost $7. Also, Tesla early on was up 17 or $18 with the stock, above 440. So again, what we're really seeing is that rotation in. And they come in first thing in the morning, and whether they're just buying the stock or whether they're buying options, uh, yet to be determined. But in still, what it did produce was, I think, a lot of uh, maybe rolling risk-on trades out in Apple, in Tesla. Tesla ended up coming back down, still up, still closed with a decent gain for the day, but NVIDIA was the big one. NVIDIA, Apple, and Tesla really controlling the story. Um, we saw AMD kind of catch fire, so a lot of rotation there. And I would suspect that this is going to continue, at least through Friday, if not to getting it all together for next Tuesday for that quarterly expiration. Now that takes us into the fourth quarter. So if we're going to finish this up and we're going to start coming down in a minute fourth wave, I think we're going to finish this minuet five and then the minute three before the end of the quarter. So the rotations work two ways. First we get all the rotation into things, and we start seeing the rotation out of things. And so we could have one or two stronger down days. And again, by the time we get up to the 30th, maybe we have more rotation in. So we're looking for a, once this is done, a minute fourth wave. And that would be expected to bring us back to here. So in the NASDAQ, it would be a fairly large correction. When we think of that low as 23,060, and we're trading and likely trade again above 25,000. So that's essentially about a 2,000 point drop. That's going to be a fairly large correction and should take a while to unfold because it'll come down in an A, B, C. But to be honest with you, it's a wave four. So you got to open up your possibilities there. Yes, it could be just a straight 535. That would be a zigzag. That would be okay. Shouldn't take all that long. But if we go into a more complex pattern, i.e., a triangle pattern, a double ABC, a triple ABC, those take longer to unfold, and we spend a lot of time bouncing around. Particularly if we're going to get again an additional. Remember, this whole move here was a running fourth wave for this minuet wave four, a running fourth wave. So again, could we get a similar? Well, we could, but there are other diagonals, there are other triangle patterns that would also work and fit right up in there. And should it drop into a diagonal pattern or a triangle pattern, it may not get as deep as we think. But it still would be sideways play and moving. And I would expect at least a minimum down to this level, 24,248. Now, that's not much of a pullback, but if we can start coming down and then we do sideways and we do up, it all should work itself out. But I think ultimately, we come back into this area, right in here. And then we put in that minute fourth wave, and then we rally up again and a minute fifth wave. And that's the one, folks. That's the one that I think then, and it should take some time. Minute fifth, a minute degree can take some time. I mean, let me just put this out. That is done. So let me go out to the daily. This minute wave three, that is April the 17th of this year. We're now getting ready to roll into October. So we basically have 6 months it took to unfold all of this minute third. If we're doing a minute wave five, back up, I would suspect we should at least probably get 3 months out of it. So the minute wave 4 may unfold quicker, but I'm thinking, well, maybe 3 weeks and maybe a month. We're out into October. So rally could be tied to, because I think it's about October the 14th that we start to move into earnings. And you know how the market loves the earnings season. We have a lot of speculation. But then again, depending on what's going on, we're start heading towards year end. So again, the algorithms continue to suggest a surge in the fourth quarter. And so that would certainly serve the purpose in terms of a minute fifth wave back up, new all-time highs yet again. But once that minute fifth wave is complete, it'll finish the minor fifth wave, it'll finish the intermediate fifth wave, and it'll finish the primary third. And then we're looking for a much larger correction. So, but we got to get there first, so more on that later as we get closer to actually these tops up here. Now, for tomorrow, I'll bring this back down. Let's go back to that hourly. I think we get a little bit of a pullback, and that's a small fourth wave. And then we go back up in a fifth, and it finishes this third wave, right? So we can get up here. We can get up here even. And then we pull back again in this fourth wave down here, and then we go up one more time for the fifth wave, and then that fifth wave completes the subminuet fifth wave and completes the minuet fifth wave that completes the minute third. Very complicated, I know, but it's all stepping stones and it's all layers building up to that ultimate top, which takes us up to that minute third wave. So that's the story. Again, this morning, a little bit confusing because it's just this. I'm going to bring it back down to the 15-minute. Look at that. Big old nasty wedge, or just, this big dent in the middle. And so it just looked like an ABC. So I thought A, B, we're looking for the C. So it should have come down below that. It didn't. It didn't. By the time we started to open, which is right about in here, right there, we just started to go. We were starting to go prior, but we just kind of went. And so I kind of knew when it was doing that pre-open run that then this is not going to be, a C wave down, because this kind of like that flag, and then it just went bing, and it kind of flew. So looking for a small four. Here's our markers: 24,964, 24,922. One other alternate possible here. We are in this subminuet wave 5, and this could be 1, ABC 1, ABC 2, ABC 3. And it would be this one, this third. And then we get an ABC down in a 4, can overlap if it is going to be a diagonal, and still within this subminuet wave 5. So it could end up being a little bit of a triangle, and that would fit to what the heck was going on inside of all of this. And so we'll see, but keep all that in mind, because it would also demonstrate how the market is cycling in and out, rotating in and out of different things. So one stock goes up, another goes down, several go down, etc. Doesn't make it the easiest trading, but once it got into full force today, it was a little bit easier. You just kind of go with the flow, which was to the upside, and you just kind of got your long, and you let it go up. And then when you made your target, you just kind of waited for a pullback, which could have been thin, and then it took it over, and you did it all over again. So not a bad day in terms of that. And that's really about it. Moving average is all still in pretty strong alignment to go up. That's the 15. We got the hourly, and still all very nicely to go up, and we'll go one more out to the daily, and we have everything still in alignment to go up. So everything still has green light to go up and finish all of these sequences, and eventually finish up to that primary wave 3 up on top. And again, we have plenty of room, and we can get to we can get above 26,000, to be honest with you. So Let's see where we go. And then tomorrow, support at those levels, resistance 25,124, 25,238 and beyond. And I will end it right there, get this published, and our next update will be the morning update.